Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Amanda and today we are going to go through my finished pages, my work in progress and my plans for the future. Now it is the middle of August and I have recorded this video so many times trying to get a July colour book video progress update out, but unfortunately I haven't managed to do that because of technical difficulties and the fact that I have a small child now. So I've been struggling, but we're gonna get on with it in this one, and it doesn't matter what time it's out, they're still finished pages. I will say that I have one other video, or two other videos rather, of my finished pages, and I don't have those books anymore, so I can't show you those, but I will navigate you towards that video if you want to watch it. It was highly negative though. I was quite down on my colouring back then, even though it wasn't that bad, but I just want to, tell you that just in case you think that I was an absolute weirdo, because I used to hate everything that I coloured. But I have kept two books from that time. One of them is Mythomorphia, the French version that you can see, and the other one is a book that I was gifted by an illustrator back then. So I haven't got that book to hand right now because I don't really want to show that one, but I will show you the rest of the collection that I've been collecting so far. Another thing that I want to dive into showing you is my ColourBuddy system, which is basically my Notion tracker that I've built. Right now we're going to go through the finished pages and then I'll show you the tracker, and then we'll go into the work in progress, or I'll show you work in progress as well while I'm here, and then I'll talk about my plans after we look at the ColourBuddy. Okay, I'm going to go by author just because it makes it easier for me to make chapters in the video. So the first book that I have is by Johanna Basford, and this is Small Victories. I have a couple of finished pages in here, or near finished pages, and a few work in progress pictures. So the first page is this one, and I was initially going to use this book to make shorts, and I have recorded some shorts, but I'm not sure how the footage came out, and I realised that it was a lot of work to make those videos into short videos, especially with my filming style and my editing style. So I don't know if that's something that I'll still do, but we'll see. I'll keep them in the bank and I'll keep recording them, but I haven't actually finished this page yet. It's still got some work to do in it, and yeah, but this is polychromos pencils, and most of the things that I've done is polychromos, and if not, I will tell you otherwise. But yes, work in progress here. So that's fun and exciting. I thought it was finished, but then when I looked at it, when I recorded this video again, due to technical difficulties, I realised that I haven't even touched the houses and the butterflies and this jar here. So, and even these little flowers here that I'm seeing now. So there's loads to do still. The next page is this one. I have started doing the mushrooms. I think this is a really popular page, and I kind of got discouraged with it because I was seeing everybody else's and I was like, oh my goodness, their pages are so nice, their colour combinations are so nice, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue with this eventually, and I'm liking the way that it's going now anyway. This is the next work in progress page I have, and it's just a simple pink page, very messy actually, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm excited to get it finished. I just need to stop colouring in the dark on the couch, because that's when I make mistakes. And last but certainly not least, this finished page. I really like how cohesive it is and how limited the colour palette is. I really enjoyed that. I did see somebody else make a really cool finished version of this that made it look like a completely different page, which is really cool to see different interpretations of it and not be jealous, because I've finished this page and I'm happy with it. There are some bits that I would change, like I would probably blend a little bit better and be a little bit more neat, but other than that I'm happy with it and I think it's a really cool page. The next Johanna Basford book is Magical Worlds, and I have two other Johanna Basford books. In fact, when I first had my other collection, I had loads more, but this is the only other Johanna Basford book I have so far, and I got it because I didn't have it in my collection before, so I was really excited to try something different by her. And I have a lot of pages tabbed here, but I don't actually have that much done. This was all done by with Coloursoft, Derwent pencils, by the way. So this is a completed page where I was testing the pencils out. It's a bit messy, like I don't understand why it's rubbing so much. Like there's a little bit of mess here and it's kind of annoying, there's mess over here. But Derwent Coloursoft are quite soft, and in fact I found that they were a little bit too soft for tiny details for me, so I decided to pass that up and start using Polychromos in this book from now on after I did a couple more pages. So I did this page, and in fact this side of the page is blended with a blender pencil and this side is not, and I can see the difference on it, and I actually really like this finished version better than this. This is usually how I would finish off my pages. I don't usually burnish or blend to a smooth finish, but I really like doing it like this, and I think that doing it with a blender pencil is really good because it doesn't add more pigment, it just kind of keeps it the way that you like it, and then it just kind of mushes the colour together, so it makes it a little bit more nicer to look at without all the little white bits showing through. So I think I might use the blender pencil a lot more. And then this is just a really fast thing that I did. I wasn't even bothered about the colours or whether it was realistic, it was just flat colouring, and it's not blended or smoothed out at all. This is the next page, and to be honest I don't like the way that it's going so far. At first I used different shades of pink to do the birds, and then I realised I didn't actually like that and I wanted to do them more realistic towards what they actually look like. So I started colouring in them blue, but I didn't have an eraser at the time, so I was trying to go over pencil that I had already done and it was just a nightmare. I didn't want the flowers to be pink either, so I wanted the tiny little flowers to be pink but not the big flowers. I decided I wanted them to be purple, pink and blue and green, so quite a vast colour palette, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I've messed up this page and I can't salvage it, but maybe I will be able to with gesso or something like that. This is the next page. It is a hefty work in progress, and I think I'm going to try and erase most of this because I want to make it a little bit more fantastical rather than just plain old green. I don't know why I chose green. I think I've got it in my head that I can't use a lot of colour and it's got to be limited, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm trying to stop doing that. So yeah, this is probably going to be completely made over by the time you see it again. This is a work in progress page that I started when I was at my mum and dad's house. I was sitting outside, my kid was asleep in his pram, my mum had just taken him for a walk and me and my mum were chatting. So I was just colouring this in while we were chatting, and I didn't get very far, but I wasn't even paying that much attention, to be honest. I was just putting some greens down. My mum even mentioned that I had forgotten to colour in this section with the darker colour before I moved on, so she was paying attention, I was not. And then this page is the only completed proper page in here. It is the owl on the branch, and again I used Coloursoft pencils, but I feel like they are far too smudgy and there's not enough detail, not enough sharpness. I also used some Signal gel pen in gold and a little bit of white Posca as well. Yeah, I quite like this and the fact that it's muted, simple colour palette, but I think that I just need to work on my techniques and my blending and my colour mixing and all of that stuff with this sort of page. But I really do like it, and I'm going to call it finished and just use it as an example of how I would colour if I was not caring about the finished result and just doing it for process. Whereas I think a lot of the times when I look back at these, I think, oh, I should have blended that a little bit more, I should have took more notice to that. And I think a lot of the time it's just that I colour it in and then I forget that I need to go back and blend it out or fix it or whatever, so I just move on. But I'm going to look to in the future to just making a little bit extra effort just to see if I need to add anything to the page to finish it off properly. Sorry, I've now put the light on, hopefully you can see a little bit better. I'm sorry if it was rubbish before, but we do. This is the only Colouring Heaven collection book that I've started in. I have quite a few of these, but I haven't coloured in any of them, and there's only one page. that I've started in so far, and this is it. It's actually started with Derwent ink tints. However, the paper is like very flimsy printer paper, maybe even lighter than printer paper, so it's not great. And I think this is probably going to be a book where I just use dry media coloured pencils and stuff, because I don't think that it will end well if I try and put too much water on this page. So I'm going to switch to coloured pencils for this, unfortunately. It's a shame because there's loads of pages in here that I want to do that I think would be cool with different mediums, but hey ho. Maybe I could, if I really like it, I could maybe scan it into my PC and print it on watercolour paper or something, but I probably will not do that because that's too much effort. I wanted to start up colouring books again because my time is very limited and I only have half an hour or so to do something. In fact, I feel like I should be doing it now rather than filming a video about it, because then I would be able to get it done, but I want to make videos too. So this is the only page that I've started in here, and God knows if I'll actually ever finish it, but I was following a reference of an actual cafe in Paris, which was quite cool. So they had some sort of teal at the bottom, and then it was like cream on the top, and then this was some sort of like red colour, I think, maybe, I don't know. But we shall see if we ever do get back to this. It's the collector in me that gets these books. I mean, I do like the pages, but I don't think I'll enjoy colouring in this paper, so I don't know whether I'll continue to buy these books or not. Next up is Cozy Corner by Coco YO, and I've done a few pages in here. I'm basing these with my B&M alcohol markers and colouring on top with Polychromos, or whatever pencil I can find, but it's been Polychromos so far. And I'm leaving it sort of gritty. I don't know if you can see that, but the texture is very gritty. It's not blended out or smoothed at all. And I really like that about it. It's quite nice to not have to worry about doing too much to a page, and they're so quick. So I have started basing a lot of the pages here with marker, not thinking too much about the colour palettes, which is what's put me off actually. This one turned out okay because I was lucky, but then as I went on I wasn't thinking about what I was doing, and the colour palettes started getting weirder and weirder, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I kind of started leaving pages half finished. This one was all right, I managed to salvage it, but then it just got worse. This is actually Crayola Super Tip. I just got those in the pastel version, so I did that, but I don't think I'll be basing with those very much, especially on this paper, because it didn't turn out right. And then this, I gave up again, because this is too much of the same colour. There's not enough variety in the colour scheme here. And I got stuck on the goldfish. I'm like, I can't make the goldfish pink. I can't make it green. Like, what am I going to do? So yeah, I'm thinking about it too much. But I do have another finished page in here. However, I have missed out bits that I've not realised. I haven't shaded in some areas that I wanted to shade, and I haven't put too much highlights in it. But again, it's all about the process for me, and I don't really care if I finish pages or not. If I feel like it's done in my eyes, then that's good enough for me, I think. Next up, we have Kingdom of Curious Creatures, a fairy tale adventure book by Kanoko Egusa. And I have 2 work in progresses in here, but one is nearly finished. I'm doing this page, and right now it's a bit of a mess because I started with Neocolor 2s and I think I put down far too much pigment and I can't smooth it out and I can't fix it. So I might actually go over this with a light acrylic paint like this, a light blue or something. And then I'll need to put the text back in by myself or just leave it blank. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but to be honest, I probably should just leave it alone, because if I went over with this, I would probably make more of a mess and get annoyed. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I don't like the way that the background looks right now. It's okay over here. I kind of saved it, I think. Maybe if I just keep going over it, I'll eventually like it, but I need to activate some of the Neocolor 2 down here as well. This is the next finished page, although it's not actually finished. It still needs a couple of things done, like I need to shade and put highlights in. There's random bits that I haven't shaded, so I'll do all of that to finish it off, but it's pretty much almost there. I just got bored of it, or I think I thought that it was finished even though it wasn't. I don't know, it was weird. When I'm working on multiple things at once, I always forget where I got to, assume it's done and forget that it exists. I need to finish this, but I'm loving the way that it's going. This is Derwent Ink Tints and Polychromos pencils. Now we are on to Kerby Rosanes, or Kerby Rosanes, however you want to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure somebody's probably asked how to pronounce that and got the real deal, but whatever. This is my 2017 copy of Mythomorphia, and it's French. I didn't realise it was French until it came, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's French. But I actually really like this version. Some of the pages were stuck together when I first got it, but I actually like it. And I like the fact that it has this like flip out dragon thing. This page is on the back as a flip out, and it's also inside the book. So all of this is done in 2017. If not, then I will tell you otherwise, but most of it is watercolor or Polychromos or macro refine coloured pencils. This is watercolor and Derwent Ink Tints, and I think I ruined it, and I don't think I'll ever be finishing this, but I actually did the watercolor in the background in 2017, and then I came back in and did this Derwent Ink Tints in July 2025. I don't understand what I was thinking back in July. Like, why did I think that that would be a good idea? This is also a work in progress, and I have the numbers of the colours here, macro refine, which is great because then I could come back and finish this, right? Wrong, because I got rid of my macro refine pencils. We have a little visitor. I hope you don't mind. This, and it's also I would say a work in progress, but technically finished. There's so many things that I would do to this to make it a little bit better, but I haven't finished it, and it was in 2017. So do I really want to come back and finish it, or do I want to do it again in my new copy right now and compare them? I don't even think that I would use the same colour palette anymore, although I like the purple. Maybe I would match the sky more to the sea, or I would darken the sky. It looks too happy to be dragons in a treacherous sea, to be honest. It's a bit strange. This is a work in progress from back then. Polychromos pencils. Probably will never come back to this. Same with this. This is my gnome page, and back then, and I still think I do it now actually, I didn't render very well. So I coloured a lot, but then I would leave the white showing through. I wouldn't blend it too much. There's just a lot of messiness going on, and I don't like it. I think maybe that's where the blender pencil comes in for me, because I just can't be bothered going over it with more layers, or buying a pencil or using a medium where I don't have to go in with loads of layers, because Polychromos are obviously harder pencils and you have to go in lots to get them to be smooth. So maybe they're just not the right supply for me. I don't know yet. Just based this with watercolor and moved on. This is my unicorn page where I painted it acrylic matte background, and then I did the rest in Polychromos. I probably based this with watercolor as well. In fact, I can tell that I did do that. Minimal work and effort on my part, to be honest. I thought I was amazing at colouring as well, but I just left out so much detail and depth that I could have added. I probably would darken up the shadows tenfold with here and lighten up the highlights a lot, but I really like the moon and how that came out. Again, probably more shadows and more highlights though. This is the page that I was talking about that's on the front and back covers. I've seen this page done a lot by other people, and they seem to do it so that the gnome guy is actually inside the tree or is part of the tree. I don't know why, but I decided to do him purple. I was just thinking like monster, basically, or like, I don't know, just some sort of magical creature, and I made him purple. Don't know if I would do that again or not, but we will see if we figure it out. Obviously it's unfinished. And again, I blocked out a lot of Kerby's pages with this black matte paint, and it used to be Americana that I used, but my local Hobbycraft don't sell it anymore. They sell the Peebles and the Hobbycraft version as well. Just wait a minute, baby. Next up is this one, which I've just based in watercolor and did a couple of shadow details. And we have the tentacles here, and then this octopus. Sorry, I'm going into baby mode because I've got my baby here, so I'm acting like I'm talking to him so that he feels engaged, because I do not want to record this video again. So we are trying to get through it, aren't we? We have the sea as well. I really liked the teal sort of greenish sea rather than blue. I used this a lot. Another blacked out background. I actually did a live stream with this and I never finished it. I did that a lot. I started projects and I just didn't complete them, and that's something that I really want to try and stop doing, is just starting things and never completing them, and also making promises to my viewers that I'm going to do this thing and then just forget that it exists. I really like how these little planet things came out though, and I do want to finish this. I think it'll look really cool once it's done, and I like the fact that I used purples and blues because I don't really use those colours a lot anymore. Next up is this work in progress, and I actually started this in 2025 in July, and I just based it with watercolour and gouache. I think most of it was gouache actually. I started going over it with polychromos pencils and a white gel pen to cover black lines. I think most people use acrylic marker to cover the black lines though, which is a good idea because I think that works better. But yeah, I wanted the background to be sort of muted and sort of in the background basically, and then the tail be multicoloured obviously. But then I was like, maybe the actual animal should be multicoloured as well. This is actually Derwent watercolour pencil that I covered it in, and then I started to activate it and I just stopped there and I haven't touched it since. This page I started in 2017 and I continued it recently. Colour combination's a bit weird, but I was thinking, you know, blue and orange are opposites, so I thought that would be cool. I kind of like the background, but it's a little bit streaky. I should just use the techniques that I use when I'm painting, to be honest. Because it's someone else's work, I don't want to cover up all the lines and redraw the elements, so that's usually what I do. The style of my painting is that I draw the most simplest thing, outline, and then I do the rest with paint. So I rarely use actual line art, so I have to adapt the way that I colour or the way that I finish off my art, which has been a sort of learning curve. It's been really hard to adjust to that. This is another work in progress page. It's pastel, and I was kind of gutted the way that it sort of came out in some areas. Like this won't go away, but I think the method I used is probably the wrong one. I should be scraping the pastel off and then blending it in, but the thought, even thinking about it makes me shiver. The thought of scraping pastel onto paper just makes me feel funny. I hate the feel of I hate a lot of textures, and I a couple of years ago got into soft pastel and I realised it wasn't that bad, but the thought of scraping it off, no thank you. Plus I have not too expensive, but I have a hefty expensive set of pastels, and I feel like I would be wasting them, even though if I use them this way then I'd actually be using them, whereas for the past couple of years they've been sitting in my shelf. So I might experiment with that a little bit, but I also want to know how to seal it, because I've used fixative on this, a couple of sprays actually, a couple of layers of fixative, and it's still coming up. So yeah, I would like to know how to do that, and obviously I want it to be a lot better. I might layer some more on this and test it out and experiment and see, like put dark on the edges and make it a vignette. Is that what you call them? A vignette or something? I don't know. Next up is this work in progress, Phoenix or Phoenix, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've always called it a Phoenix, but I think it's a Phoenix. So this is polychromos pencils, and yeah, I just ended up not continuing with it. I don't know why, but Mythomorphia is definitely my favourite book by Kerby Rosanes that I know of. I know there's other books like Mythic World that I'll probably like more, but out of the books that I own so far that I've coloured in, Mythomorphia is definitely my favourite. I started this one in 2017 and continued it in 2025. So I did all of this in 2017, all of the background elements, and I've done, and then this as well, these cloudy, whispery things. That is one thing that I don't like about Kerby's work, is these cloudy things. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know it's the main going into clouds and stuff, but sometimes I'm like, this doesn't need clouds. In fact, I have a tattoo on my leg that has clouds in the background, and maybe that's why, because they shouldn't be there and it takes away from the main image, which is a paint palette, by the way, and then there's clouds surrounding it, and I think that the clouds ruin it, and it just, sometimes for me, that's how it feels, because I'm starting a page in Animorphia soon, and it has clouds in it as well, but it's underwater. It makes no sense. Anyway, I did this section in 2025. I don't know if I'll finish it, but we'll see. I would like to finish it, but at the same time, I just feel like this should be left as a 2017 relic, and I should move on to my English copy, because I think I'd be happier filling that up. Like, I maybe want to do all of Mythomorphia. I don't know, we'll see. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Should I finish these pages, or should I just leave them as a sort of homage to my previous colouring techniques? I started this in 2025 July as well. This is mainly gouache, but I stopped it because I didn't like the way the background was going. This is gouache, and I'd prefer to use acrylic because it's easier to get the same colours. And also, I didn't like the fact that this was going to be gold. I should have made it silver to make it make sense. I think all the other colours are good, but this should be silver. So I think I'm going to colour it silver, and I'm maybe even going to add some silver accents with some drawing ink that I have. This is a live stream on my channel as well. It's very old and cringy, so you probably don't want to watch it, but I do tell you how I do it, and I watercolour it first, and then I go in with polychromos pencils. And if I were to do this again, I probably would do it completely different, and I think I definitely would black out the background, but with a acrylic marker or something, to make it easier, because it's a lot of detail in between the chain that you would have to go into. And to be honest, I don't know what colour a Cyclops is supposed to be. I don't know if I would maybe change the colour of the Cyclops, or at least make the beard a ginger. Come on. This is actually just me testing out my markers that I got. And that was the last page. Okay, next up is Animorphia, and I have a lot of work in progress pictures in my old Animorphia book, but I don't have that book anymore, so I've only got a couple to show you in here. The first being the All the Answers page, and this was done with polychromos pencils. I didn't finish it off completely. I didn't do the owl, and I could have blended it a little bit better, but overall I'm happy with it. I was just doing it at work, and I think this page is what got me back into wanting to finish and complete colouring pages, because before this page I was just like tinkering and practicing and doing little elements here and there. I wasn't actually thinking about the whole page, but this one I actually come up with a colour scheme, and I wanted to finish it. Maybe there is a little bit too much orange, but yeah, I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm happy that I finished a page, and it did excel me into trying to finish more pages. So saying that, I ended up finishing this page, which again started as a sort of test. I was just gonna do all of the little creatures blue and then leave it at that, but the more I coloured it, the more I started to enjoy it. And I usually don't like, or rather not prefer, the doodles in Kerby Rosanes books anymore, but I was really enjoying it, and I was doing it while I was watching Amy Ward Art's streams here on YouTube. She also streams on Twitch, so if you want to go and check her out, you should. She put it on screen, and they suggested that I add some reds into the elements, and Jess from Colouring Bumblebee suggested that I black it out, and even though it makes no sense because there's the sun here, I didn't realise that this was a thing until literally looking at it now. Like, I knew there was a sun, I was colouring the sun yellow, but it just didn't click that I had blacked it out and made it nighttime. Very uglily, by the way. You wouldn't think that I was an artist with the way that I've done this sky. If I was to do this again, I probably would do the background first, cover up as much of the elements as possible and splatter the white on and take more time and stuff with the elements. But yeah, I think I may black out the sun, or I'll just leave it as a funny kind of quirk, because Amy did suggest that I could do the background yellow, like a bright yellow, and then I started doing a sort of sunburst thing, so it was red fading into orange fading into yellow, but I was having a hard time covering all the cruddy bits on the background, so I decided just to black it out this time. And in my older books, if you look at my finished pages video from 2018 or whenever it was, you will see that there is a lot of pages like this where I've just blacked them out just to kind of get over it. And I think you've seen that in Mythomorphia a little bit as well. This is my other work in progress one. I wasn't even going to start a Kerby again because I was all Kerby'd out, but to be honest, my collection's not that big, even though I would like it to grow much bigger. There's so many books that I want, but my collection's not that big, so I really fancied doing this page with a little bit less doodles. And I had an idea for this as well, so I started blacking it out, well not blacking it out, blocking out the background with a acrylic paint from Hobbycraft. They're the Peebo brand, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but they dry matte, so they're matte acrylics. They're so good, and yeah, it's a little bit patchy now, but it needs another coat. And I will put another coat on it eventually, but I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with the background yet. I obviously don't want to leave it blank, this colour, but I will figure that out when it comes to it. But I'm really happy with the way that it's going so far. I just need to remember to put his ear back in because I clipped it with the paint a little bit. And I'm going to try and not do these natural colours. So if you look up swordfish, you probably would see that most of the colours are usually blue. Sometimes there's blue and yellow, sometimes grey, but I don't want to do the page grey or blue because that's boring. So I decided that I'm going to try and do these maybe a little bit of peachy, pinky, purpley colours, or maybe I'll do some purple, pinks, and then silver. I don't know yet. I haven't exactly made up my mind entirely, but I'm going to look up some colour combinations surrounded by the whole peachy, purpley, pink sort of area and see what I can come up with. But I'm really excited to do a limited colour palette, but also explore colours that are not realistic, because even in my original art, I find it really hard to kind of creep away from realistic colours, and only recently have I been adding atmospheric perspective into my work, which means that you basically, things that are further in the background, like trees for example, lose their saturation as they go back. So in the foreground they look greeny, yellowy colours, and then the yellow drops out, and then the green drops out, and then eventually you're left with blue, purple, and then grey. So I've recently only started doing that to differentiate between my greens, because when I look at the world, I'm going off on a tangent, but when I look at the world, I usually see green, and even though they're different shades and colours of green, different tones of green, I still see it as green, and even in the distance I don't see the colour drop out. Even when I take pictures, I don't really see it. There is a certain aspect of that in the far distance, but if you were to take a picture in a forest, for example, and there was like trees in the background and trees in the foreground, sometimes they're going to look exactly the same. But in a painting, to make it look more interesting, you would make the trees in the background more blue, if that makes sense. So the reason I'm saying that is because that's the first time in the whole years that I've been painting and stuff that I've started to do that. So I'm trying to not stick too much to what I see and more what I would like my creative expression to be, if that makes sense. So anyway, sorry about that tangent. That's the only thing in Animorphia. And now we have Geomorphia, and I only have 2 work in progresses in this book. And to be honest, I think this is going to become a tester book along with my Phantomorphia, because I have Wondermorphia and I want to do that book with proper things. Whereas this, I think I'm going to practice techniques, especially for Kerby Rosanes, because these pages are quite similar to, like, the quality of the paper is similar to all of Kerby Rosanes' books. So if I have an idea or a technique or a supply that I want to use in the books, I want to test it in these before I do it in Wondermorphia or before I do it in another Kerby book, if that makes sense. So I have used watercolour in Kerby's books before, way back when, but I just wanted to test them again, and I wanted to kind of just test to see what kind of texture it makes and what I can put on top of this. I've only done the watercolour background and I've made it a little bit darker in some places, but it did start to bleed through a little bit. There's a little bit of bleed through up here, but once I controlled the water a little bit more, i.e. I switched to my favourite brushes rather than the water brush, I got on with it a lot better and I started to enjoy it. So I'm really excited to come back and actually pick out the details on this and make it look really cool. I did a painting a couple of years ago where I did a sort of similar thing where there was sand coming up and into water, and I made the sand sort of like a pinky pastel-y sort of dreamy sort of thing, and I really like that look. So I might do that here and then push it into the blues of the water. And this is the first time I've probably done blue as water rather than teal, but yeah. And then I did the same thing here, and then I also tested out using gouache for my backgrounds, and this was when I realised that there's no way I want to continue to use gouache for my backgrounds, especially if it's going to be solid, because it's too hard to remix gouache because it actually dries darker if it's a light colour and lighter if it's a dark colour. So it's really hard to colour match to dried paint. It's even really hard to colour match to wet paint, to be honest. And I did get slightly good at it. You can tell that there's a little bit more purple in this than there is in this black. And I kind of got it here, but it's just too patchy and I don't like it. So that's why I decided to get acrylics for my background. I've only got a couple of colours. I think I've got a pink, a blue, a green and a black. And I maybe bought a white as well so that I could dull it down. But yes, this is actually watercolour, but I'm happy that this page is repeated in a few books actually. It's repeated in ColourMorphia and Wondermorphia because I wanted to have this be yellow coming out into the middle and then fading into orange. So yeah, I was either going to do that or I was going to make it look like smoke, but I think I'm going to do the yellow fading into the red and orange colours. And then this will just be like normal mountainy colours. I'm actually really excited to do the mountains because I used to love painting mountains when I did original art. I say that like I haven't done it in years. It was literally like last month I was doing original art, and I still do original art. But colour books are much faster for me when I have a child. So, and I can't wait to like test more in this book and see what kind of things I can come up with. I want to test a lot of other mediums in here, maybe pastels, inks, watercolour, gouache, like actually doing gouache for the elements and not worrying if I cover it up by accident or whatever. And then I can easily look up the page online and see what elements I need to put back in. There's loads of other things that I want to test out in this book, so I'm really excited about that. But that is the last work in progress book. But stay tuned because we're going to jump into ColourBuddy now, and later on we're going to talk about my plans for the next month coming up. Okay, so this is my ColourBuddy. This together it took about 14 hours, so I was very excited to start planning stuff, as I love to plan stuff. And then sometimes I plan so much that I don't do the actual thing. But anyway, here it is. So at first I have called it ColourBuddy, and I've put personal on it because I have a blank copy of this just in case somebody wants it as well. But if somebody does want it, I think I would probably put it for sale because a lot of work went into it, and I might even, you know, do a blank copy of it with supplies and books already inserted so that people don't have to set it up because it is very tedious. So we'll see how that goes. But if you want this blank or not blank, then tell me in the comments below and I'll see what I can do to put it on sale for you guys. And also tell me how much you would be willing to pay for it, blank or filled in, because I don't know. I was thinking between £5 and £10 depending on how much information I put in it. Let's just get into how I do it anyway. It's not to sell it anyway, it was just to show you, and if you want to set up your own, you can do that as well. So this is my ColourBuddy, and I have this sort of checklist for today, the week and the month, so that I can keep track of things that I want to do colour book wise, and that includes, you know, recording videos and editing and stuff like that. So, and I've already finished the boon page, which is exciting. I've got this little quote here. It says, "Don't forget, everything you can imagine is real," by Pablo Picasso, because I thought that was nice. And then you can embed something here. I don't think I will, because it'll probably throw off the spacing. So I'm going to delete that for myself, because I like it just plain there. Next up is my goal as an artist, and that's to be the best artist that I can be. That's a very cheesy goal, and quite generic, but I couldn't think of anything else, so that's what I've done. Anyway, let's get to the meat and bones of this. So this is my navigate list. Shouldn't that be navigation? I'm going to call it navigation list. And this is a book list. And I also want to mention here that I have had a few inspirations in making this, from different YouTube creators, colour bookists and simmers actually. The idea for this section I got from a simmer who organises her save files like this. She adds her information. Hers is set out completely differently from mine. Anyway, this navigation list at the side, we have 2025, inspiration list, study list, want list, supplies, and a year archive. I will go through these one by one just to show you what they all do. But obviously the book lists, I'm gonna mention those first just so you can see. You can add a new page like this, and then you click here, which is book tracker template, and then it will create a new one, and then you can change the cover. And to be honest, the hardest part of this has been finding decent covers for these, actual good resolution pictures, and then you can just rename it and call it whatever. I think I have a book to add, but I can't remember the name of it. Hold on, I'm just gonna Google it real quick. So the book that I was thinking about is called Woodland Whimsy. Whimsy. I have the pocket version. I don't know if there is another version, but I've got the pocket version, so I'm gonna just go for that. And the designs are by Paper Panda, so we are gonna put Paper Panda in here. And I'm also gonna put Colouring Haven because that's where it is, so yeah. And then you can put pages coloured, pages started and finished. And then you can also have this information where if you're working on a page, you can add a new page and, you can open it and then add a page template. And then this will bring up more options for you. And you can put art supplies that you're using on the page, techniques you're using with the page, what you like about the page once you've finished it or when you're in the middle of it, critiques about the page, stuff that you think you could improve on. And then I've got a little diary entry here as well where I can put what I did the last time I was in the book, and then what I plan to do for the next session, or the page rather. I probably won't always use all of this for every page. Sometimes it's just nice just to track the pages by themselves, but it's okay and nice to have this option too if I want a deep dive, especially if I think that I'm not going to come back to the page very soon, because then I can put down the art supplies that I'm using and what colours I'm using and all that stuff, and the techniques that I'm using so that I remember for the next time. And that's where the diary thing is handy as well. I can put down that I did a base layer and alcohol markers, and I started colouring with polychromos pencils, and then for the next session I could put continue shading with polychromos pencils and then see art supplies up above, and then look at my art supplies and see what colours I'm using. So that's kind of what we're got going there. So That's exciting. And then obviously you can upload the cover as well, which I will do eventually. I do have another couple of books that I haven't added yet, but yeah, this is my little tiny collection just now. And there's 4 to page, or 4 to a row, so I've got 25 here, but I think I've got a little bit more. Anyway, let's go into 2025 and I'll show you this. This is where I mostly got the inspiration from a pictured purpose. I think that's her name, Kyra or Kira. I can't exactly remember. I have filmed this video like 3 times and each time I have not remembered her name, which is really annoying. And then after the video, I go and check and then I forget again. So I'm sorry, but yes. So you can change this to 2025. This is a template page as well within the ColourBuddy system. And then this is just a number of how many pages you've coloured in the year. And you have your goals for the year. I haven't actually filled these out properly. This is just my example goals. And then we have the monthly pages where you have every month and then you can track what you're doing. So in August, if we actually click open instead of just August, you have the goals here. And I've just put catch up on as many work in progresses as possible, start on Rooms of Wonder, experiment with soft pastel effects, and then pages coloured, all the answers, baboon. And then we have books coloured in. Then I actually link these to the pages that are in the book section. So the book trackers have all these things in them and I just link them on this page so that if I want to come here and see, oh, what am I working on this month? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on that. Then I just click on it. And if I have added it to the book tracker page and it's a work in progress, then I can do that too. And that means that I can keep track of what items I am using and stuff like that. So that's how I use it. I think other people have like buddy colors and just other stats on here, but I have this and I'm happy with it. And then you can put notes for the next month as well. Like say if you tried the Crayola challenge and you were like, I didn't like that, I won't do that again. Or I really liked using pastel, I'll use them more next month or something like that. So that is the monthly pages and every single month is the same. It's just got a different month and a different icon on it. And you just click month page and it will come up with a brand new month, and it comes up like a list thing like this, but you can change it and do whatever you want with it. It's up to you. That's if you get it, or you can make your own, whatever you want. Anyway, then we've got the 2025 pages, and it's just where I'm keeping all of the pages that I've done. I did have the sum up here, but I don't know how to get that out again. There's a sum here, which is 5. Oh, okay, maybe we just have to know how much we've coloured. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this is 2025 pages. Although Hydra's on here, and that's actually a cheat because Hydra wasn't coloured in 2025. It was coloured in 2017. So sorry about that. But yeah, and I haven't finished the mushrooms either. So yeah, there's cheats in here. And there's things missing as well because I've coloured in more than this too. I just haven't filled it in yet because I actually have to look to remember, but yeah. So this is just all the pages, and if you click on it and open it, it's just a blank page because it's not connected to the book tracker or anything like that. We go back to the ColourBuddy, and the next thing is inspiration list, and it's just a list of inspiration that you might want to have. And we've got colour palettes here, and then we've got artists, which is me. I also have a little drop down menu so that you can add colour palettes to this if you want. I've done it like this so that you can put it down so that you don't have a big list of loads of stuff. And then obviously you can do the same with that as well, YouTube channels and stuff. I've added mine, of course, because that's how I roll. Then we've got the study list, which is just, links, YouTube videos, tutorials, things, articles, whatever you want in here. You don't actually have to have this here. I don't know why that's there, but you can just embed it or paste it, do however you want. I haven't used it yet because usually I just, put it in my watch later list on YouTube or something. But this could be Skillshare videos or whatever you wanna go through. Then we have our want list, and of course that just means it's a list of things that you want to buy. So yeah, I've got a couple of things here. There is loads more that I want to buy that I haven't done it. I've added this tick box so that if you have it, you can tick it off, and then it disappears because we've got the filter on. The filter is unchecked, but you can have checked and you can see what you've bought. And then same with this, I have a list of stuff that I want to buy. And I just change the icon so that we can do that. But yeah, list of things. And then I have a set, or like a list of stuff, kind of types of watercolor, of supplies. I don't know why I said watercolor then, but yeah. You can add as many dashboards as you want and just as many supplies as you would like as well. And then we have the supplies list. This is actually an inventory of the supplies that I already own, and I've already put Faber-Castell Polychromos in here, the full thing. So this is basically just the name of the colour, the brand, the type. So obviously, because you've got Faber-Castell and then you've got like a bunch of types like Polychromos, ALLJArt, all that stuff. Then you've got where you could buy it. I actually don't think that this link is the best link for it because it's not the cheapest, but hey ho. And then I have a rebuy soon option so that you can tick it off if you need to buy it again. So if it's too short, then you can buy it again. And then I have it owned as well so that you know that you've got it. You might have it but need to rebuy it soon. You might not have it and need to rebuy it. I don't know. It's a weird one. I have so many supplies. It would take me forever to start entering all of these. And I have also entered the Derwent Coloursoft because I have 24 of those, or 36, can't remember how many, but yeah, I added the Derwent Coloursoft, the full range, and then just ticked off the ones that I've owned. And you can filter this as well, so you can just see the ones that you've owned or the ones that you don't own. Found it interesting to see the gaps in the colours. So like, you know, we don't have any of these purples, but we've got one royal purple and one blush pink, so the things in between could be quite good to get. But we've got a cluster of things quite close here, you know what I mean? So it's just nice to be able to see it all together. And then we have the Prismacolors, because I've got some Prismacolors as well. I just started putting them all in. I can't remember if I actually put all of them in or not. Oops. No, I got to light aqua and then I gave up. It is tedious, so this is why, you know, I was wondering if somebody would like me to do it. And obviously, like, everybody's not going to have all of these supplies, but you might, I might put the most popular ones in, like the Prismacolors, the Faber-Castell Polychromos. The type would actually be Premier pencils. Is that how you spell Premier, or is it ER? Okay, Premier, yeah. So that would be that. And you can actually highlight these and change it all at once so that you don't have to change it individually. So there we go, they're all Premier now, which is great. So yes. But I have the 72 set of them and the portrait set as well. So I do need to fill that in, but I can't be bothered right now. And then we have the year archive, and that's basically just an archive of the previous years. And obviously I've got 2017 because I stopped colouring in, and then I went back and I coloured 42 pages in 2017. I actually didn't know because some of these were done in 2018, but I couldn't be bothered figuring that out. I just watched one of my videos of my finished pages. It shows you, like, that was Lizzie Mary Cullen. I did 6. I did 5 by Johanna Basford. I did 14 Bennett Kleins. I did 7 Kerby Rosanes. I actually tried to contact Bennett Klein and ask him if he was bringing out more books because I loved Bennett Klein books. Those were my top favourite to colour, and they were also quite easy and fast to finish. And obviously, because I didn't do this tracker back then, I didn't fill in any of this stuff either, so it's just kind of empty. And to be honest, to save Notion space, I probably would just delete this because there's no point in having information in here that is irrelevant. So yeah, that's my year archive. So that's my ColourBuddy system, you know, it's not perfect. I still probably need to tweak it, and I probably will keep tweaking it and adding things to it, but I thought I would share it with you, and I hope that you got something out of it if you want to make something similar, or you just wanted to have a little look-ski, or if you want to buy it, let me know. We'll move on to my plans for August and September now. I'm going to start with completing my work in progress, and I want to finish this page. I really want to just knock this out of the park. I think I'm probably going to do as much watercolour on this as possible, or gouache probably, just to give it that gritty texture, and then colour in it with polychromos, because I don't actually like colouring in this straight with polychromos. I haven't tried it too much, but the little bit that I did try on my finished page that you've seen earlier, I didn't really like it. So I want to finish this work in progress. And I think this month is probably going to be dedicated to finishing a lot of pages that I've started, because I have a bunch. I also want to finish the pages that I've started in Magical Worlds. I want to finish this page, but I will be using Polychromos instead of Coloursoft. I also want to finish this page and possibly even rub out what I can with this and at least gesso it and prep it for when I want to start it again, because I do want to finish this page eventually too. Next up, really simple, in Cozy Corner, I want to finish this page, and I also want to finish this page in Cozy Corner. I think I'm probably gonna just leave these 3 pages, not that one, I might finish that one too, but leave these 3 pages alone and just forget that they ever existed. Because I don't like the way that they're coming out, or maybe I will fix it. My main priority is finishing this page and this page. I definitely want to finish the front page of this page, and this page, maybe just this part of it, not this necessarily, but I definitely want to finish this. I'm not sure if I should make this pink as well, or if I should change the colour combo. What do you think? Maybe I should make it purple or blue? Who knows, but we will see. Yeah, I just want to finish off the work in progress pages basically. I don't like having so many work in progress pages, and I like to finish things that I have started. This is actually really impressive for me to have so many work in progress things, because usually I get freaked out about that and I need to finish a project before I can start a new one, but then I kind of get hung up on it because I'm like, I don't really want to finish that right now because I'm stuck here or whatever. So having the ability to start something new, even though I'm in the middle of something old, is so huge for me. So I'm quite proud of myself for that. But then it also means that I probably end up with less finished stuff. But as long as I'm still creating, I don't really care too much about finishing something, because it just means that I am actually doing something rather than just being stuck for months and months in an art rut, which I have been through before, and it is so bad. It's so terrible. Like, art is probably about 70% of my life, and it sucks when I can't do it. So I'm really happy that I can now do work in progress things. It really makes me happy. Now I have a lot of work in progress pictures in here, and I just want your opinion, that's all. If I should finish the pages, or at least the pages that I like the way that it's going, like this page could be finished, maybe this one, and then also this page. Should I finish them, or should I move on and leave the book the way it is and just start again? Please do tell me in the comments below, that would be nice. Now that we are over the amount of work in progress I have, I'm going to talk about what I want to start. And this is a lot, it's ambitious because it's halfway through August already. I think this is plans for August and September. So yeah, I might need a buddy colour or something for some of this. If you want to do a page with me in Rooms of Wonder or ALLJArt Asian, then please do tell me. I want to start in Rooms of Wonder. This is going to be my project book, the book that I post on YouTube front to back, which I have noticed has already stopped me from colouring in it, but I am so excited to colour in this because I think this will be my favourite Johanna Basford book. So I'm kind of sad that I haven't coloured in it yet. And I'm not sure if I want to do it cover to cover, but I actually really want to start with the keys because I want to play around with metallics and learning how to do them, and also bringing back some techniques I used to use years ago when I used to paint these things. I used to draw keys a lot and like locks and doors and stuff. So I really want to experiment with that again. So I'm really excited for that. This will be a video on my channel. I don't know what type of video yet, whether it'll be a tutorial or like just a colour along, or just like a chatty, let's do art together video. I'm not sure. Please tell me what you would prefer. I can't promise that I'll do it that way because, to be honest, right now the best way for me to record is silently and then voice over in it later. The only reason I'm able to do it this way is because my son's at football, my other son's in bed, and my husband's away. So this is a rare opportunity. So I'm trying to, that's probably why I'm talking too fast as well. I'm like, I need to get all these videos out tonight. So yeah, sorry about that. But yes, I just want to make content because I'm really pumped for it. I tidied my desk today. That's probably why. Anyway, let's move on. And the next, and probably the last thing that I'm going to put on my to-do list is my ALLJArt Asian. This is the only Rita Berman book I have so far, but I do want to collect them all. However, I am very skint. I literally just started going back to work after maternity leave this month, so I need to stop buying things. But I do want like every book, especially the walks book, like the summer, like the seasons books. I want those because I really love landscapes. That's what I primarily draw and paint. So that and food. So like those books would just be right up my alley. But I really liked the look of this one when I was searching what kind of books to get. So I want to do a page in here and maybe a buddy colour, but please, if it is a buddy colour, if someone wants to suggest a buddy colour with me, then please suggest an easy one to get me into these books, because to be honest, there's a lot of pages that are all right. I would love to do every page here, but maybe I want to just kind of ease myself into it. So maybe a page like something like this that has food in it. Actually, no, that looks complicated. No, I don't want that one. Maybe something like this. It's just quite small and simple, or even something like this, but I think a lot of people have coloured this. This is far too much for me to dive into at the start, but I don't know, just something a little bit more simple, but more fun than this. Yeah, more fun than this and way less complicated than this. Sort of like this. But if there's no offers for buddy colours or whatever, then I will just pick a page myself. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I'm really excited to start in this book, even though it's so incredibly tiny compared to what I thought it was going to be. It's way smaller than what I thought. And I want to give a loose mention to these 3 books as well, because I just purchased them, even though I have untouched books in my shelf already. Most of them are Kerby Rosanes and Colour Haven books. So I kind of not bothered if I don't touch those this month or in September as well. But I definitely want to do one of these. I am looking for a more fall themed page though to start in September, because I really want to do that, but not Halloween related. I'm saving my Wednesday Addams book for then. But yeah, I want to get Halloween books again. I had the Jasmine Beckett Griffith Halloween book, which I really enjoyed. I coloured so much in that book. Might rebuy that. And Jess from Colouring Bumblebee did mention a couple of books that has autumn themed pages in them, so I'm really excited for that. I might do a page in Magical Jungle, World of Flowers, or Symphony of Cute Animals. It depends on where my mood takes me. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to comment, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.